Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the United Kingdom. And yeah, today I'm bringing you just a little sweet treat holder using the sweet ice cream stamp and punch bundle. So as usual, you get your discount if you buy it in a bundle, and it's a great stamp set and bundle combination because it punches out this lovely ice cream scoop here and the cone as well, and I thought I'd just make a slightly bigger one to make into a little treat holder, and in there I've just got some little individual sort of like little mini tic-tac packs, but you could pop all sorts of little treats in there, sort of millions or whatever, and it's just using like a box fold at the top so that it fits in. And the paper I'm using is this from the 2020-2022 In Colour Designer Series paper stack. So this is where you've got paper in each of the in colours, and you get the same designs but in all 5 colours. So we've got one that's the one I'm using, which is like a trellis effect, almost with a fleur-de-lis type one, a sort of grid and some stripes, and you get that in all of the colours. So it's a really good bundle. You get 8 sheets of each colour, so 2 sheets of 2 or 4, it's loads of sheets. You get loads and loads of paper in there anyway. And this is a really easy kind of cone treat holder. Doesn't require lots of measuring. So you're going to take one piece of 6x6, and that's what you need for your base. You need some scraps of the paper, a bit of just basic white cardstock that I've got here, and yeah, and whatever you want for a pair of snips as well. And so first of all, I'm going to do something slightly different. I'm taking my inspiration from the colours that are in the DSP itself. So it comes with 12x12, won't be carrying over, so if you love the DSP then you need to get it now. And the DSP is lovely ice cream themes and then some super backgrounds on the back in some kind of non-traditional colours as well. Some of them are last year's in colours that have just left us, but because of the colours that are in there, it works so well with lots of different colours. And I've paired it in my sample with some Calypso Coral instead of terracotta tile, which works really well. But I thought I'd go a bit mint choc chip, which is my favourite. As always, with a photopolymer stamp set, I always recommend that you use a Stampin' Pierce mat to get your there's my inspiration. See, a bit of old olive there, and all you need to do, because this is again one of our lovely distinctive stamps, all the colouring is done for you. Now I've just misplaced my chamois just for a change, misplaced something. So have I got, okay, it'll be here hopefully. Okay, let's try this. Oh, let's look. Oh no, I have cleaned it. It's just the colour that's there from before. So I'm just stamping old olive, and you'll see when I stamp, if I stamp lightly you get a slightly lighter one, or if you just add a bit more pressure you'll get a darker effect. So it works really well. So I'm just going to stamp 3 of those, and then I'm actually going to use a different stamp set for my sentiment, and this is one of my go-to sentiment sets, Lovely You, because you've got all sorts of things in here that you can use. Lovely font, just because, really useful. Wildly Grateful, You're My Person, you know, heartfelt, and then you can just add it to whatever card you want. Lovely little accents as well. And with the stamp set, you can always just ink up the sentiment or part of the sentiment with one of our stamping markers as well. So that's always a good way of getting the exact sentiment that you want. So I'm going to ink up my Just Because, and I'm just going to stamp that just in the middle of my ice cream cone. You see it stands out well there. And then I'm just going to punch these out by feeding them in. Oh, I'm going to add my sprinkles. I want to add some sprinkles. So because my sprinkles obviously, well, they're not sprinkles on my case, they're the choc chips. Do love a bit of mint choc chip, so I'm just going to add those in like so. Some choc chips. And in fact, what I actually did was I stamped an extra one on my first sample, just to give it a bit more substance and stability on the top. So I'm actually going to do a fourth one, but that one doesn't need the extra because it's going to be hidden behind the sentiment one. And just hold that in, feed that in from the side and press. Just be careful if you're only using part of the card that it does project down into the next one, so you don't jam your punch up, because if you have it too close, you might be in danger of it just getting wedged into that join. And just make sure you don't do what I've done, you just trim it off well in between times. So I'm just lining it up. If you struggle with strength in your hands, pop it down and sort of line it up, and then just hold it and press down with your hand, and that way you'll find that you can punch quite easily even if you're lacking any strength. When you've got a small piece, just my usual tip, grab a post-it note, use that to feed it in, and obviously that means that you don't have to use great big pieces of paper. And again, just press it down, and all you need to do then is just peel that off the back. So we've got our ice cream shapes, which we can pop to one side. I'll need my snips. So I've taken one piece. This is the cinnamon cider 6x6, and all I'm doing is lining it up at 1 centimetre and then scoring. And you could do that freehand if you wanted to, as in just fold over an edge. And what you then want to do is, to make it easier, is just trim an angle on that corner. And you're going to fold and score on that diagonal, like so, and reinforce that well. If you were sensible, you'd have your bone folder to hand. I, of course, have not been today. And I find it easier to kind of open this up and then fold it in. It's a bit like doing origami, so I just want to encourage that to be a nice tight point and reinforce it, and the same on this side. And all I do is just run your nail, sort of curve that bottom bit down. Goodness knows what I've done in the bone folder. Obviously gone for a little walk, and you'll see there I haven't quite cut it quite as acute as an angle as I want it to. So just trim that like so. So there we've got the basis of our cone. So now I'm just going to fold that over and just cut across. Just cut your excess off, just makes it a little bit easier for you to manage. Now, the way I found this easiest to do was to grab my ruler to mark the sides. So I came up at about 11 centimetres and made a little mark. Use a pencil. I'm using an erasable marker here, and then grab your scoring tool and just score across there. And again, just mark on the side. Or measure, obviously, if you wanted to. And you just, again, come across. And then what you're going to do is measure about just over 2 centimetres, so just under an inch, so about 2.2-ish. Because, and the reason for that, I better say, is because across here, if you're measuring it, it's just over 4 centimetres. So you want it to be slightly bigger so it'll catch when it goes in, and around about the middle. And I'm simply going to cut that freehand. If you wanted to, you could take something that's curved and draw around that to help with your with your curve shape, or you could grab your, if you've got dies, your layering circles, and there's one here. Yeah, if you look, that's just about. So, you know, you could just draw a slight outline and then cut around that. Okay, so there we have our curve shape. So if you haven't got layering circles, then you might have a punch that's a similar size. You just need to get yourself a curve, or say you can do it freehand. So when you open it up, it looks a little bit like a flower. And all I need to do now is trim this little extra bit off, just so that it's off slightly at the side. Add a bit of glue. I'm just using a bit of Tombow here. And just glue that together. And there's our little box. And then but where you've scored, you'll find those will fold in. You can always reinforce them, as I've done there. So now, to get that to close, pop your whatever treats you want to have in there. As I say, I've got just some of these little mini Tic Tacs, probably 3 or 4, maybe half a dozen might fit in there. And then just do like a top of a box. So fold each over, and the last one you're going to fold over on one and tuck under on the other. And then if you just reinforce those creases, you'll find that holds. So now we can create our topper. And all I'm doing here is I'm going to add a bit of glue to the bottom of my first layer. And add that on. So where it overlaps, and then the next layer is just using some Stampin' Dimensionals. I can't even get the words out today. What's the matter with me? So, and this obviously helps give it a bit of stability as well. So I'm just going to add 3 dimensionals to this front one. Like so. And then that's going to sit on the back there. So all I'm going to do is add some glue to the top of my cone. Now you want to make sure that your seam is at the back. So put that to the back and just add some Tombow. Then all you need to do is pop your scoops of ice cream to the top, and there we have a couple of little mini treat boxes, just because. Or this one, You Melt My Heart. Great stamp set and coordinates so well with lots of other things. These little treat holders would just pop on a table, pop on somebody's plate in the morning, just a little because. So thanks for watching. Come back and see me soon, and please hit the like and subscribe button. It really does make a difference. Bye for now.